every year I try to take on big changes to my life, but with most of them, I usually just end up back where I started. This year, however, I've been focusing on making more subtle tweaks to my routine, and I'm already seeing a profound impact. In this video, I'll share 5 surprising micro habits that have dramatically boosted my productivity and well-being. And if you want to start integrating this into your own life, towards the end of the video, I'll be pointing you to a free, very practical cheat sheet with micro habits based on your particular goals. Moving to Seattle was tough for me, especially during the first months of COVID. I really struggled with my routine and I kept feeling stuck in this sort of fog. Late nights would always turn into groggy mornings and my productivity really took a hit. That's around when my sleep issues worsened and lasted for about 2 years. Late last year, however, I stumbled upon a podcast episode on sleep from the Huberman Lab podcast, and one of the key recommendations was to view sunlight as the first thing you do every single day. One day I finally decided to try it and it was actually pretty nice. There was something so peaceful about it. This isn't just about the beauty though. As the podcast clearly pointed out, there's solid evidence behind it. Our bodies are wired to follow a circadian rhythm, a natural internal clock that helps regulate sleep and wake cycles. Morning sunlight helps reset this clock, boosting your mood and enhancing your mental clarity throughout the day. It's like giving your brain a gentle nudge to wake up and get focused. But even more impactful for me, the morning sun triggers a cortisol spike that effectively starts a timer for your body to know when to start releasing melatonin naturally to help you sleep. What I love about this is that it's truly a micro habit. It only takes a couple of minutes each morning and the benefits really compound over time and spill over to other aspects of my health and productivity. I still wouldn't say that I've become a morning person, but I'm much more functional in this time of day, and I'm also able to sleep much better at night. If you're looking to give this a try, here are some things you can do. The first one would be to set a consistent wake-up time. Waking up at the same time every day helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Aim to always wake up within a 1-hour range of your regular time. The second one is to just spend a couple of minutes outside each morning. 5 minutes would be enough if it's a very sunny day. If you're in a place where sunlight is scarce, you might need to stay outside a bit longer or consider using light therapy lamps as an alternative. Also make sure you're not viewing it through a window or wearing sunglasses to get the full benefits of this. For most of my life, I would almost always read self-development, productivity, or big idea books. But I recently forced myself to explore other genres, and the ones I was most pleasantly surprised with were memoirs and biographies. When you immerse yourself in the life stories of other people you look up to, you're not just learning about their successes, you're absorbing their mindset, their grit, and their approach to challenges. For me, it all started with Walter Isaacson's biography of Steve Jobs. His relentless pursuit of perfection and his almost obsessive attention to detail have been a huge inspiration for my own career. His story wasn't just about creating technology, it was about pushing boundaries, questioning norms, and finding elegance in simplicity. Values that I quickly adopted in my own work ethic. But the goal was to expand my horizons, so I didn't want to limit myself to tech innovators. I recently picked up Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and his stories of unconventional choices and resilience really showcased the value of taking risks and trusting the process, something I've always struggled with. Or another one I read was Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain, which provides a raw look at the culinary world but also emphasizes the importance of passion and dedication in any craft. For me, the fact that both of these people are just so far off from my usual discipline, and yet I could relate to their challenges and learn from their approach towards life was super satisfying. If you already have the habit of reading, you're likely way past this realization. But I'm not the most voracious reader myself, so I'm only recently discovering this pleasure. So if you're anything like me, I would highly recommend adding some diversity to your reading backlog. The universe is in order when your station is set up the way you like it. You know where to find everything with your eyes closed. Everything you need during the course of the shift is at the ready at arm's reach. Your defenses are deployed. Anthony Bourdain. Mise-en-place is a French culinary term meaning everything in its place. It's a fundamental practice in professional kitchens for organization and efficiency, and it's my micro habit number 3. I'm not a line cook or a chef, but I've been trying to tidy and reset my living space to its intended setup towards the end of the day, so that it's ready for me to work effectively the next morning. And this ties in pretty well with minimalism, a practice I've been trying to follow for a couple of years now. So while the more recent habit is this idea of mise-en-place, its broader purpose has been to remind me of minimalism in my day-to-day life and practice it more often, not just when I need to spend a weekend decluttering. Small things like getting rid of unnecessary items when I come across them, tidying up my apartment, and organizing my desk have had a subtle but super positive impact in my life lately. The outcome for me is a clearer mind, an organized living space, and a more focused and intentional approach to my personal life. The most impressive part though is that it didn't take long for this clarity to spill over to my professional life as well. I got significantly better at prioritizing commitments, it was a lot easier to focus on the task at hand, and most importantly, my code became much cleaner. Turns out, much like our physical spaces, Mise-en-place serves just as well when it comes to the digital developer workspace, and minimalism principles can very effectively be applied to the code we write. Think about writing clean, efficient code by focusing on simplicity and removing redundancies. The idea is that every line of code should serve a clear purpose. The code not only looks better, but it also becomes much more maintainable and less prone to bugs. If you're interested, I made an entire video at some point about how this overlap between minimalism and coding has been super impactful for me. I've had a complicated relationship with social media after moving out of Mexico City. When I just got to Seattle, I was struggling to make new friends and clinging onto my phone kind of like a lifeline. Scrolling through Facebook or Instagram seemed like a harmless way to stay connected with old friends, but it left me feeling more isolated and distracted than ever. So this one is not so much a micro habit in itself, but more about getting rid of a micro bad habit. Behavioral economics introduces this concept of nudges, small changes that can lead to significant behavioral shifts. For me, having social media apps on my phone was a constant nudge towards distraction. The design and notifications of these apps nudged me to check for updates all day, pulling my attention away from other activities. It wasn't super easy at first to resist this urge, but deleting the apps acted as a counter nudge. Gradually, without the constant reminders and easy access, my urge to check Instagram diminished. This small change led to a significant shift in my behavior that allowed me to focus more on other meaningful activities. Without the endless distractions, my productivity easily went up. I found myself driving into deeper work sessions without the constant pull of my phone. My mental health improved too. The anxiety of keeping up with everyone else's lives started to fade. And perhaps most importantly, my real-life interactions became more meaningful. So if you would like to try this, consider a digital detox period. 30 days where you completely eliminate social media from your daily routine. It sounds daunting, but it's incredibly liberating. And if going cold turkey feels too extreme though, use apps like Opal or your phone's built-in screen time functionality to limit access gradually. For me, workouts were just another box to tick off. Show up, lift some weights, go for a run, call it a day. But it wasn't doing much beyond my basic fitness. This year though, Abril and I started taking dance lessons after watching too much Dancing with the Stars. And I also recently started learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I realized that if I wanted to stick with these things and not get injured, I was gonna need a more targeted approach to my fitness. This is where truly functional training came into play. Functional training isn't just about building muscle, it's about improving overall functionality, strength, flexibility, and injury prevention. So my micro habit has been to just question what I was planning to do in that day's workout session. And what was I hoping to accomplish with it? Was today's routine in line with my goals? And if the answer was no, I would do some research and tweak my plan. My new approach to fitness with this new micro habit looks something like this. 1. Having clear goals. Instead of just aiming to lift heavier weights, I set specific goals like improving my posture, increasing core strength, or improving my hamstring flexibility. This gave my workouts direction and purpose. Second, it's functional exercises. I incorporated exercises that are much more practical. Exercises that mimic the activities of every day and improve overall body mechanics. Third is mobility work. Including this helps me prevent injuries and has made my workouts much more effective. Stretching has now become as crucial as lifting weights for me. And lastly, just mindful training. Really focusing on form and technique during each exercise ensured I was getting the maximum benefit while minimizing the risk of injury. If you don't yet exercise at all, adding all of this might be a bit more than a micro habit, but it's still very much worth it. The energy you spend training, you get back in the rest of your daily life, and you perform so much better in everything else you do as well. And if you do already exercise, just tweaking your routine with intentionality can really double the effectiveness of the time you spend exercising. All of these micro habits have significantly improved my life in many ways, but unfortunately, they won't be enough to, get me promoted at work. Performance in my career still needs a bit more of a targeted approach. So if you're serious about advancing your career as well, I'd recommend you go watch this video next, where I cover some of the books that have helped me the most in this regard. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.